Brentford 3, Manchester United 1, and probably United's most dismal performance of the season so far. Recently, you guys have been asking me for positivity. Anytime I am negative in a video, you guys go, but give us the positives. What can we cling on to? And we've done that recently with some of the videos during the week. Today, that's going to be very difficult. So post-match, Ruben Amorim has come out and said that Manchester United played into Brentford's hands too much. Essentially, we went to Brentford and played their match. We tried to out-Brentford, which is going to be difficult to do. It's sort of their speciality. We played the game the way that Brentford wanted it to be played, rather than playing it how we want to be played. And I think Ruben Amorim is spot on. I think he is completely right with that comment. And it starts with the way, for example, that you play from goal kicks. We saw that Bayindir in goal was very direct with pretty much all of his distribution in this football match. And of course, playing long isn't always a bad thing. We'll come back to that shortly. But if you are regularly playing long ball football, you are setting up a football match which is built for dueling. So as Ruben Amorim, I think he is right. We tried and we played too much into Brentford's hands. But I would also argue that we sort of set up to do that, right? If you're going long from the goal kicks, and we've seen already that we did, then you are asking for dueling situations, whether that be your striker up against the centre-backs, or your midfielders on the second ball, or perhaps turnovers in midfield which result in long balls for your centre-backs to deal with. Regardless of how you look at it, if you do play direct, there's going to be some sort of dueling situation, and that is what Brentford want. So Amorim is absolutely right with his assessment from that point of view, but I sort of feel that he caused it. And for me personally, what we have to do is look at the starting 11. I could have told you before the match. I said it to my brother before kickoff. When you start those 6 players, I was still confident that United would win the football match. I should make that very clear. I saw the team sheet and thought, yeah, I don't like it, but I think United will win. But I did say it's not going to be an entertaining win, because when you play those 6, all good footballers in their own right, but you're not exactly going to Brentford to try and outplay them in a football sense, right? You're not going to try and get the ball on the floor and play through the lines and knit moves together, play dominant, controlling football. Those 6 just don't give you that. If you really want to play controlling football, you start someone like Kobbie Mainoo. So I just think that comment from Amorim is interesting. I think it's spot on, but I think he actually almost caused a problem a little bit with his team selection. And then also the players on the pitch, their technical execution was terrible, particularly the first 8 minutes. These guys could not find a pass. Now, of course, long ball football isn't actually always a bad thing. It can be a very effective method of getting the ball forward. It's something that United have done quite a lot early on in the season, and at times we've seen how positive it can be. Because what you do when you play long is you bypass a lot of the pitch. So, for example, you might bring a load of players short and deeper into these positions here, in these deeper areas, to sort of draw the opposition, Brentford on this occasion, onto you a little bit. And if you then play direct, and let's say you win that first contact and you flick it in behind for Mbumo, like we saw last week, or you drop it off into midfield and you pick up the second ball, the long ball can be really effective because you have bypassed all of this part of the pitch. You've progressed up the pitch a lot quicker than what most teams would. So the long ball can be effective, and it was for the United goal. Šeško was brilliant in this match with some of his hold-up play and his target man play, particularly in the first half. He did some really good work to bring others into the game, and eventually we saw Dorgu overlap, and Šeško got the goal that he deserved. So that was the positive, really, of playing long ball football. But also, we do have to look at the flip side of that as well. And realistically, if you are going to play a lot of long balls, you are going to win some of them. You're going to win some second balls as well. But you are also going to lose some. That's just sort of how odds work. Chances are you will lose a couple of duels in midfield, for example. And this is where United have a problem. Because the football is so quick moving forward, if we lose the ball, we are incredibly open. If we say United moved the ball slowly, right? Let's say as a team, we sort of played shorter passing game and we really slowly moved our way up the pitch and eventually all together as a team got the ball into this position. Let's say we then lose the ball here. Because we've got so many players high up the pitch, because we've built slowly, we can counter press. We can get players back around the ball to try and win possession back. However, because of how United play, when we lose possession, a lot of these guys are still actually back in our own half a lot of the time. So we lose the ball in this high position, and then we don't have anyone that can get on the second ball because our defence is so deep. And that's when we become incredibly easy to play against. Now, we of course saw this for the first goal. Manchester United are attacking fast. We can see that because there's only 4 attackers in shot. This isn't sort of steady progression. United are going quick here, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if it doesn't work, you've got a problem. Now, Dalot deserves some criticism here because, like I said, in the first 10 minutes, the technical quality was extremely poor. This is an easy pass for Diogo Dalot to play, and he just messes it up and forces Cunha to compete in a duel, which he loses. But this is the problem. Because United have attacked fast, we don't have the rest of the players there ready to actually support the team in winning the ball back. So Damsgaard, on the ball for Brentford here, has all the time in the world. And this shot is really nice. Look at the distance between our highest player and our deepest player, and also just look at the players on that line through the pitch. Manchester United, vertically, are incredibly stretched. Normally when we talk about a team being stretched, we talk about being horizontally stretched, perhaps gaps between the centre-backs. But in this instance, United are vertically stretched. The gap between the striker and the centre-back is massive, and there's so much room for the opposition to play with the ball. And obviously we can see Damsgaard here, in loads of room before playing over the top. I don't know what Maguire's doing here. And of course, the rest of the work is really good. It's an amazing finish. Second goal, not quite as quick a move from United, but I think, again, it was a loose second ball, which happens when you play fairly direct. Brentford picked the ball up, no pressure on the ball, long ball over the top. Look at the spaces that are there for United. There's so much space in that zone. Vertically, we are incredibly stretched, and that's because our defenders are still all the way back here. And again, I don't know what they're doing. Dalot and De Ligt get themselves in a little bit of a muddle. Eventually the ball goes wide, it comes into the box, and Brentford go 2-0 up, and it's pretty terrible from United. Now, I would say so far what we have seen is the manager perhaps not getting the approach to the game right. If you're going against a physical side like Brentford, there's almost two ways that you can approach it. You could try and match them physically. You could try and play a load of big players. You could try and physically impose yourselves to reduce some of the Brentford threat. The other option is that you could play a really technical team and try and play a really technical match. Yes, Brentford might be really physical, but we're going to keep the ball away from them. We're going to control the ball. I would say United went for the former. We went for the physical approach. Again, seen in the starting 11 that we went for. But that didn't work. Again, we tried to out Brentford and we couldn't. But also, the technical quality was a serious issue. And like I said, perhaps that's what happens when you pick that team. But individually, the team was incredibly poor. I don't know that any of them had a good game. I think Šeško did well in the first half with a lot of long balls. I thought a lot of his work was good. Second half was nowhere to be seen, really. Not necessarily his fault. There was nothing coming towards him, but he was poor. Cunha looked really poor, perhaps rushed back too quickly from injury, I'm not sure, but he didn't play well. And Mbeumo didn't play particularly well. Dorgu was okay. I thought Ugarte was okay, but nothing more than that. Bruno Fernandes was incredibly poor. Dalot didn't do too much for the team. The back three looked shaky with everything. Whether it be a ball into the channel, a long ball up to the striker, a throw into the box. The United individuals looked poor, and then Bayindir in goal. I don't know what he's doing. I just don't understand what Bayindir is doing for a couple of those goals. It's terrible goalkeeping. And this is why, for a brief second, you feel sorry for Amorim. Yes, he may have set the team up wrong, but he didn't set the team up to make those mistakes, right? He didn't ask Maguire to misjudge his line, or De Ligt and Dalot to get so confused, or Bayindir to dodge the third shot. So that's not Amorim's fault. But I guess the question I would raise is, in football, do you buy your own luck a little bit? Let's say, for example, you are a team that plays incredibly aggressive, you play on the front foot, and you really hunt the opposition down and you try and attack them. If you win a penalty, is that lucky, or does that come as the result of the style of football that you play? Because you're always moving fast forward, you're always aggressive in the final third, so you win those situations. Likewise, we always say, oh, we're so unlucky. We always concede weird, silly goals. We concede deflections, or our goalkeepers make mistakes, which of course we do. But do we invite that onto ourselves because of the brand of defensive football that we often play? United didn't press well in this match. Brentford found it very easy to move the ball forward. So perhaps we were just asking for those mistakes. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because of Manchester United's defensive approach in this game. Now, to be fair, first things first, Brentford did cause a bit of a shock. They played a different shape, a different system. They approached the game in a different way to what Amorim and his side would have prepared for, I would imagine. They were often almost like a 4-2-4 on the ball, Brentford, as opposed to the normal back three or back five that they would play. So perhaps early on in the game, that causes some problems. It takes a little bit of time to figure out your pressing structure. The problem for United is it never really fixed itself. We never found a solution. So we were shocked, which I'll allow in the first 10 minutes. Brentford had a surprise for us. But at some point, you've got to adapt. You've got to adjust. And United never really did. And the problem here is a mathematic one. Okay, so let me just quickly go through this for you. So first of all, let's highlight the three forwards for Manchester United. So early on in the game, these three were the three responsible for pressing. It was hardly pressing because we didn't get anywhere near them. But you can see, of course, Brentford have 4 players there, plus their goalkeeper, versus 3 for United. We are outnumbered in this position. That's a problem, okay? We move on to the next phase. We now go into midfield in this zone here, with Damsgaard occasionally dropping in. We know that Manchester United, in this position, have 2 players. So we've got 2 central midfielders. The problem is Brentford at times have 1, 2, 3. So once again, we are outnumbered. So we're outnumbered in the first phase, and we're outnumbered in the middle phase. Now that means one thing. That means we cannot physically, numerically, mathematically be outnumbered on the last line. Because we've got Luke Shaw, Maguire, De Ligt, Dalot, and also Patrick Dorgu. We are 5 United players to 3 Brentford players. Now, I guess the first point you can raise is, do we need to be this defensive? Do we need to be this cautious? Do we need to be this passive away at Brentford, who have started the season horribly? Could we not be more front-footed? Could we not get more players in these areas here applying pressure to the ball to force the opposition into turnovers, to ask questions of the opposition? I personally think we could do that. Perhaps you will disagree. Let me know what you think in the comments. But what I will say is, if you are going to have this situation here, you're going to have 5 players, which we talk about a lot, 5 defenders for United and a ball-winning midfielder. If you're going to do that, if you're going to play in that way, please at least be good defensively. And United aren't. We have a defensive approach to football, it feels like, at the moment. We sacrifice attackers on the pitch for more defenders. Most teams would have an extra midfielder or an extra forward, like Brentford did, but we didn't. We went for the extra defender, and was still incredibly easy to play against. And that was my big problem in this game. It looked very easy for Brentford from minute 1. Even when United grab a goal back, yes, we have 5 minutes where we look like we might do something, but outside of that, it was very easy for Brentford all day. It was easy to attack Manchester United because we are outnumbered over here. We are outnumbered in here, so it's easy to attack United. It's easy to move the ball forward. It's also easy to defend against United, though, because we've got 5 defenders. We've only got 2 midfielders, so it's difficult to build up possession. And our front 3 are often quite isolated. They don't have enough support near them. The only thing we do really have is the long ball football, which Brentford were equipped and ready to deal with. That's why I'm struggling for positives. Now, I will just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to give you guys such a negative video. I like to be the person in the Manchester United community, the fan base, that can bring positives, that can take almost anything from a bad situation. I can find something good. That performance, I can find that Benjamin Sesko played well with some of the physical work, and that Dorgu had spells in the game where he protected the ball well and won a lot of fouls. Outside of that, I don't think United done anything well. A lot of that is on the manager. The approach, it's a passive approach. It's a lot of defenders on the pitch. It's trying to play a physical game against Brentford, which proved to be the wrong decision because Brentford were largely too physical for us. And as a result, we also didn't have much attacking threat on the pitch. I also looked at the individuals, the players as well, because all of them, apart from Sesko, were bad. Not even just like, they were bad. Most of them were bad. There were a lot of bad performances from Manchester United, and that makes for an absolute disaster. Bad tactical decisions, in my opinion, you might agree. Bad performances from the players, in my opinion, you might disagree. It's not going to go well. Manchester United lost 3-1 and never looked like getting anything from this game. An amazing opportunity to get a second win, back-to-back for the first time in over a year. Gone. Reset. Back to nothing. All momentum. Lost all confidence. Lost. Manchester United looking very lost. Yeah. Nice positive note to end the video on this week, but that genuinely was the performance. I doubt any of you guys in the comments will be able to find anything good. We just sort of got outdone in every phase of the match by a poor Brentford side. So it's not very good, so I don't really want to talk about it any longer. So I'm going to stop the video there. Thank you guys very much for watching it. I hope you have enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.